I'm honored to be talking with Pat Chamberlain today about Out of the Ashes. And we'll talk more about Out of the Ashes in just a moment, but I want to learn more about Pat and his history because it's an amazing story about where he's been and where he's come from to this day. Pat, let's talk a little bit about your past. Now, you've been through some really tough times as a youngster. Tell us a bit about your history.
Jim, thanks for coming and doing the interview. I was born in Newark, New Jersey, and about 5 years old, my mother left there. My father, he left when I was about 2-3 years old, and she brought us to live down in Florida, Cape Canaveral, Florida. My great-grandfather was a reverend there, and he had a church. And my great-great-great-grandfather helped start the Goodwill many years ago, and it was a soup kitchen, and they would help people get off of drugs. And I didn't know that till years down the road, but first time I ever got high was 6 years old. I was born into a family of functioning alcoholics and addiction, and a lot of chaos and insanity and all that stuff that comes with it. Shortly after moving to Cape Canaveral, my mother moved us to Palm Beach County, Florida, and at the age of 12, her and her boyfriend got into a fight, and he had hit her, and she left the house to go to the bar, and 3 men kidnapped her and raped her and killed her when I was 12 years old. And shortly after that, I pretty much left the building, so to speak, and made a lot of bad decisions and ended up on the wrong road for quite a while, and until I came to the end of myself and gave my life to the Lord. And
the times that you were out on in the world, so to speak, with drugs and alcohol, were you on the street or did you have some place to live?
Well, I got bounced around. It was never really one place. I never finished a school year out at any in particular school. We always left before the year was out, and so it was challenging trying to fit in, because I always felt like I didn't fit in. By the time I made friends, we would move into a different school or something like that, different home, different area. So we bounced around a lot, different school districts and whatnot. So that made it challenging.
How was school for you? Were you able to get through school during all this time?
Well, no, I never finished out high school. I ended up getting my GED shortly afterwards, and I never really got to finish out high school or anything like that. I ended up graduating ninth grade, and then ended up getting a GED afterwards.
But your experience when you met God for the first time, it changed your life. Give us an example of what happened.
Well, I remember I was doing outreach, and the chaplain of the sheriff's office there would minister to me at that time, and we were serving, giving out food at a food pantry, and I asked him, I'd been baptized when I was a child, but it wasn't by my choice, and I had made a lot of bad decisions at that point, and I was really angry at God for a long time, and it made it hard for me to even have the God talk, to be honest with you. I just felt like nobody could understand where I was, coming from, having lost most of my family at a very young age. So it was really hard to trust people and to open up, but he helped me, and he led me into the sinner's prayer, and I got baptized and saved. But then, all hell broke loose after I got saved, and I had to take a look in the mirror, and I didn't like who I saw, and I attempted suicide with a loaded gun. And for the first time I heard the Lord speak to me, and he said, if you give me a chance to show you how much I love you, he says, you'll be amazed. And he showed me my life and flashed right before me, and how he had saved me time and time again. And
the example of how you were saved during that time of attempted suicide, fascinating, interesting story. What took place?
I was trying to get off of drugs, and I was looking in the mirror, and I couldn't stand what I saw looking back on my life and all the bad choices that I had made. And I fired the gun 9 times in the air, and I put it to my head, and I squeezed the trigger, and I said, I'm done with this. I'm done already. I'm tired of this. You know, I don't understand how you could take all my family away, and I'm just done. And I don't understand how you could expect me to go through with this. And I squeezed the trigger, and for the first time I heard the Lord speak to me in an audible voice like you and I are speaking. And he says, I love you so much. If you just give me a chance to show you how much I love you, and you'll be amazed. And so I am amazed at the love that he's shown me. It's just something unexplainable, all that he's done for me.
Did you know at that point that you would be doing what you're doing today in terms of rescuing people, helping rescue people, and develop Out of the Ashes? Was that something that was on your mind at that point?
No, if you would have told me that back then, I would have, I would have laughed. I couldn't even imagine this was part of his plan. Little did I know. Today I'm an ordained minister and licensed pastor. That phone rang and rang and rang, and I didn't want to answer the call. You know, I could help people on a peer-to-peer level, but he kept bringing me out deeper and deeper to a point where I was fully reliant upon him with everything. And he's never failed me, and he's never failed anyone that's put their faith in him. We've seen hundreds give their life to the Lord. We've helped thousands of people here regionally, right here in Rutherford County. We serve Rutherford and Polk County, and we average just over 300 people that we house a year out of the streets, the winter, through the whole year. So now we have a new facility, and we're growing, and looking forward to having a model where it's self-sustaining and self-supporting, and it would sustain itself through generations to come and help people. Actually named the women's mission after my mother, Sandy Lee's place, to show her that she did her best as a single mom, and she raised me right, and she was a good mom, and I honor her today, and I honor my Heavenly Father for saving me and giving me a life worth living.
As the founder and president of Out of the Ashes, how did you establish the name Out of the Ashes?
Well, it's weird you said that. I remember first getting the ministry off, getting up and going, and I'd asked the Lord, I said, what's going on here? I mean, it was just something out of this world, and I had 7 or 8 strangers living in my home at this time, getting started, and I said, we were going to call it the Funny Farm. And so the guys would say, no, please don't do that. I can't stand to tell my family I'm at a funny farm. But it was something just comical. We'd have a lot of good times, and you'd be surprised when you start loving on somebody, people start opening up, and nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And being with some of these men and women and children, it's been an honor to see them recover and go back into their community. And if we're going to change the world as we know it starts with one person at a time, one seed at a time, one act of kindness at a time, and that trickles down, and that changes the very world that we live in.
A couple of questions I want to ask you relative to that. If someone who might see this or hear about this that feels the need for what you're doing, how might they get in touch with you?
They can call 828-395-2000, and they can go through a phone assessment. If they're from Rutherford and Polk County, we'll ask them 5 short-term goals of what they're willing to work on. If they come to Out of the Ashes, that we can help them with, and we'll start from there. We'll start where they're at, one step at a time, one goal at a time, and we'll work with them where they are.
And someone who feels led to help you financially, maybe from a tax rebate or their income coming in, they want to help some way, weekly, monthly, or yearly, how can they do that?
They can go to our website at outoftheashesnc.org, or they can mail a tax deductible check to P.O. Box 335, Bostic, North Carolina 28018, or they can call us at the 828-395-2000. They could also volunteer if they want to. We have volunteer applications. They can get involved. We have a resale store that's at 225 West Main Street in Spiddale, North Carolina, and that helps sustain the ministry as well.
I want to urge you to pick up this book if you find somewhere by Pat, Out of the Ashes, Not My Time to Die. It tells the story of him almost attempting suicide but didn't. Pick this book up and read it. You'll learn more about Pat and his ministry and what's happening right here at Out of the Ashes. Pat, it's been a pleasure. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate you.